Welcome back everyone. So in today's video I will be showing you how to create connections from Amazon Glue to Amazon RDS database. Okay, so in other words, we will be creating connections from Glue to RDS database. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so like I mentioned in today's video, I will be showing you how to create connections from AWS Glue to Amazon RDS cluster. And in this video, we will be using MySQL database in RDS environment. So I will just show you at a very high level the steps that we'll be following in this video. So we will create RDS cluster in AWS, and then we'll go ahead and load data into this database. And then from there, we will set up our security, networking, and all of that. And then after that, we will then go ahead and create our connections from Glue to RDS database. Okay, so this video, I have received a lot of requests for this video, and this was inspired by a previous video that I made where I showed how to connect Glue to Redshift. So a lot of you asked me to make a similar video connecting Glue to RDS database. Okay, so this video I will be going through the entire process, again setting our database up, and then we'll go ahead and load data to that database, and then go through what you need to configure in terms of networks so that your Glue can successfully connect to your RDS database. Okay, so let's jump into it then. Okay, so the first thing that I will do is log into my AWS environment. And again, if you don't have an account with AWS, please go ahead and sign up. They give you about 365 days of free credit, so you should be able to use that one if you are a beginner. Okay, and once you are logged in, this is your console home. And so the first thing that we will do is to go ahead and create our RDS cluster. Okay, so I will go ahead and so you'll see here Aurora and RDS because I recently used these services. But if you don't see, you can just go here and look for RDS. And this RDS is basically managed relational database service. So if you have a MySQL database or a PostgreSQL database that you want to spin up, then you can do so using this service in AWS. Okay, so I'm just going to open this one. And if you already have this database, then you can skip ahead into the section where I set up the connections. But I just want to show you from scratch how you will do it in case you want to follow the entire process. Okay, so right here in the dashboard here, what I will do is go to DB instances, and I will just create a database right here. Okay, and for this one, you do have a number of them, and you can choose any that you like. I have previously made videos on MySQL and databases, but you can also spin up MySQL Server or Oracle or any of these other ones. So in this video, I'm going to go with MySQL database. Okay, so I'm just going to select MySQL here, and this is the MySQL Community Edition here. This is the version. The engine version here is 8.0.40. I am going to go with free tier in the templates because this is just for demo. But if you are running in dev environment or production, then you can spin up one of these other ones. So this free tier is kind of like cheaper compared to these other ones. I don't think they charge me that much for free tier. So this should be pretty good for this video, but the process should be very similar if you are doing for production or a dev environment. Okay, and then I will scroll down here. For the username, I will leave the username as admin, and I am going to generate the password for this database. So again, this is the password that you will be using to log into your database. So I'm just going to set that password here. Okay, just make sure that the password is strong. Mine is pretty weak, so you can see it tells you right there. Okay, all right, so I have set my password now, and then the next thing, I will scroll just down here. I will leave everything as it is, and last thing that I need to do here is so I'm going to select public access for this. The reason for this is because we will be connecting from our local laptop into this database. So if you don't select this public access here, then you will not be able to connect from your local machine into this environment. Now, if you are not planning on using your local laptop, then you can go with no, but now from there you'll have to find a way of loading data into this environment. Maybe you can use EC2, you can spin EC2 machine and load your data there. But for my case, I will be logging in from my local laptop, so I just need to select the public accessibility for this. And then for the security group, we do need a security group for this. And this is going to be very important also for when we set up our endpoints and also when we set up our connections from Glue to this environment. So what I will do is I will create a new security group, and we will modify this one later. But what I will call this one really is I am going to call this one let's say MySQL security group, right? Security group. So again, you can use an existing one, but we will create a new one from here. So if I go over to my security group, those will be in EC2 service. So if I open this one in a new tab here and go to security groups here, you can see that I only have 3 of them right here. And so when this one is created, when we create this environment, a new security group with this name will be created, MySQL security group. So this is the one that we'll be using in our setup today. Okay, and then I will leave everything else. For the availability zone, I will not choose anything there. And I think that's pretty much it, okay? So we will go with password authentication. And then, yeah, that is it. That is pretty much it. I'm not going to change anything else. Actually, I will need to change the database here, the database name here. I will just name this one MySQL DB, or just MySQL like that, okay? Hopefully that will not give us a problem. And then, yeah, that is it. So I will then go ahead and create this database right here, okay? So there you can see. This is going to take 5, probably up to 10 minutes to spin up this environment. So I will let it continue, and while that is going on, okay, so we'll let this environment we'll let this database spin up, right? And so while this one is doing that, let's go over into our IAM now, okay, and then create our role that we'll be using when we create our connections to this database, right? So for that, I will go ahead into IAM section. So for that, I'm just going to type here IAM, and I'm going to open this one in a new tab. So basically, IAM stands for Identity and Access Management, and you can use it to create your roles, policies, users, and all of that, okay? So what we're going to do here is to create a role that we'll be using to connect into this database, right? So basically, we give permissions for the tasks and activities that we'll be performing in this video. So I'm going to go to roles here, and what we want to do here is to create a role, and I am going to choose the service here as Glue here, okay? I'm just going to choose Glue, and because we'll be connecting from Glue to RDS, then I'll click next here. Now I'm going to select here the permissions that worked for me when I was setting this environment up, okay? So you can pretty much replicate the same thing if you want to see. So the first thing that we will go with is RDS, and for this one we will go with RDS full access here. I'm going to go with RDS full access, and then I will also search for Glue, and for Glue we have to assign 2 roles for this. So the first one is Glue console full access, and the other one is Glue service role right here, okay? So these ones are the Glue roles. And if you want to go with additional ones, you can select any of these other ones. Again, these are AWS managed policies, so you pick whichever one you think, if you want to do other things, right? But for these connections, yeah, I will pick these two. And then I will also pick secret manager, because we will be using secret manager for this. So we'll go ahead and create our connections in secret manager. That is where we will be storing our credentials for the connections to the RDS database that we are just creating right now, right? So I will select secret manager here. And I think the last one, actually we do need VPC as well. Okay, so I will select VPC here. And VPC full access in this case, because we will be working with VPC as well. So we'll be connecting our Glue to RDS, and it has to go through VPC connections. So you do need VPC. I'm going to select VPC here. And I think the last one here is key KMS, or key management service power. So for that one, it is this one, AWS key management service power user. Okay, so this is one of the roles that I will select here. I think those are the only ones that I will go with. If we will go with this, if it doesn't work, then we can come back and modify. Okay, and then I will just hit here next here, and I will name this role AWS service role, and let's say this one is Glue RDS role. Hopefully I don't have a role like that. And yeah, so that's it. So in the trust policy here, you will see that we have Glue as a trusted service here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and create this role now. Okay, and if you open this role, or if you just go ahead and fill this role right here, this is that role we just created, and you can see the policies now that we have assigned to this role, right? So we have RDS full access, VPC full access, AWS Glue console full access, Glue service role, and KMS, or key management service, and secret manager. Okay, so we'll start with this one, and if anything goes wrong, then we'll come back and modify this. Okay, so we have our role created now, and again we'll be using this one when we create our connection. So let's go back to our database now, and there we go. So we have our database set up now. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and you can see the connection details here. And again, if we click into this, we can get some information. So this is the endpoint here. So this is the kind of the host that we'll be connecting to, and this is the port number. You can see it's publicly accessible for this, because we'll be connecting from our local environment. And these are your assigned subnets. Okay, so these are also going to be useful in a minute when we go through our endpoint setup. Okay, very good. And again, you can see this is a security group. If you go to VPC now, or sorry, EC2 security groups, if you refresh this, you can see that we have additional security group here for MySQL, and I'm going to name this one actually MySQL SG security group. Okay. All right, good. So what we will do here is, I'm going to, because we want now to connect from our local machine, right, to this database. So one thing that we have to make sure that is in place is that we have our IP, our local IP, whitelisted in this security group. So I'm going to click into this security group here, and as you can see, by default, because we created this security group when we were creating our database, by default you can see that this port has been opened. So you can see that this is open, and the source is pointed to this IP address, so which is currently my local source, right? So if you don't see something like this, right, if you don't see something like this, then you can go ahead and edit the inbound rules here, and you can basically add I think you want to add here Aurora or MySQL, right? And you can choose for the for the source here, you can choose my IP, which is already assigned, right? Now, if you want to open this for a larger group or a larger team, then you can enter their IP addresses here, right? In the custom, you can enter their IP addresses here, or you can also, if you wanted, you can, I guess, open this for the public IP anywhere. Yeah, this is not secure. If you do like this means that all the ports are open, or like, you know, anybody from anywhere can connect. So yeah, this might not be ideal if you are working in a production environment. So I'm just going to go with my the source for my machine, which is this one here. Okay, and yeah, so that is it. We will come back here later and modify this. There's one more thing that we need to do here in order for Glue to connect to this security group, but for now I think this is good enough. So what we need to do now is I will go over to my local machine, and we want to connect or create connections to this endpoint. And the reason for that is because right now we are not able to connect into this database, right? So if you wanted to connect, like query this database, there's no straightforward way of doing that. So what you want to do is you want, of course, to load data into this database. You want to query your database and all of that. Now in RDS, there's no browser editor for that. At least for free tier. I think there might be some options if you go with one of the premium tiers, but this one this one does not have it. So what I will do is I will actually go over to my local laptop, and we will use DBeaver to connect into this environment. So DBeaver is a SQL client tool that you can use to query your database. I have previously made videos on how to download DBeaver, and there are a series of videos that I also made on connecting DBeaver to a number of databases. So if you're interested, you do take a look into the channel. I will also put a link for my DBeaver videos in the description for this video as well. So what you want to do is you can go ahead and open DBeaver here. You can also use MySQL or one of these other clients that I've done. I did a series of videos on SQL clients that you can use. So you can also take a look into those. But you can use DBeaver, you can use MySQL Workbench as well. I find DBeaver much easier to use because you can connect to a lot of other databases. I have connected here. You can see I have BigQuery, I have MySQL running on localhost, Postgre running on localhost, and I also made a video also with a Postgre running on AWS and how you can connect it to DBeaver as well. So what we want to do here is connect into our MySQL database now, running on AWS, and for that I'm just going to go here and click new database here. We want to select MySQL, so I'm going to select MySQL here, and for the server host here we want to enter sorry, that's not the name here. We want to enter the server host or our database endpoint, which is this one here. I'm just going to copy that, and we will enter here. For the database, we don't have any database, so we will leave this one empty. But for the port, it is 3306. That's the default MySQL database port. Okay. Now here for the root user, for the user here, I will go with admin because that is the user I selected, and then we just need to enter the password that we specified when creating our database. Okay. Once you do that, the next thing you want to do here is to test this connection to see if it's working. So just go ahead and click test connection here. If all is good, then you will see a message like this, and I think for us all is good. So just go ahead here and hit OK here. Now, one of the things that you will run into here is one of the issues, right? If the password you entered here is not correct, you will run into a problem. And the other very common one is timeout issues. So if you have not opened the port, the security group, right, to accept traffic from your local machine, then you want to go and modify that, and just make sure that at least your local IP address is specified in that security group. So you do that, and then if you do it correctly, you should be able to connect. Okay, so for me it's good. Then we'll just go ahead and hit here finish, and so you can see this is our database now. Okay, so this is our database here, and if you check, we do not have any database here except the sys database which comes with just MySQL when you install it. Okay, so this database now, or this environment, is empty. We don't have any data. So the next thing that we want to do is to load data into this environment, and for that I'm going to use this free MySQL classics database. So if you just go to your browser, right, if you go to your browser and type MySQL classic models database, you will see this website here, and I will put this one in the link as well, or in the description as well. So what you want to do is just click into this, and this one walks you through what you need to do in order to download this database. But you can see some of the tables that you have here: product lines, products, other details, and just how they relate to each other. So I find this one to be a very good database to use if you are a beginner, or even if you're an established professional and you just want to have a database to play with in your local environment, right? So we will be loading this into our database, and what I will do here is I'm just going to go ahead and download this. This is going to download the database here. So I already have it here. What you want to do here is basically to double click this to unzip it, and this is going to unzip it for you here. So I already did it previously, so I'm just going to remove this to here, so that we only have one left. Okay, so you do that, and you will have your database here, and if you want to open this, you will see that this is basically this is how the SQL looks like. So it's basically creating the database here, dropping the tables if they are there, creating the tables and establishing the relationship, and then it's going to go ahead and load this data. So if you just wanted, you can just copy this SQL and run it on your editor, but I will show you how to do this from the command line, because I find it to be much easier. So what we'll do is if you scroll down here and go to how to load a sample database, you will see that it is showing you can do this through the terminal. So we'll go ahead and do that. So what I want to do here is to copy this one, of course, and we will go to terminal, right? I will go to terminal here, and I will make sure that this one is zoomed in. Now what you want to do is for this to work, you want to make sure that you have MySQL Server installed on your local environment. So if you don't have that, I also did a video on how to install MySQL Server on your local environment, and the reason for this is because you need the MySQL command in order to do this, to carry this type of operations. So I'm going to then log into MySQL. So because we are logging into AWS environment, you want to specify the host, so MySQL H, and we want to copy that endpoint. Okay, and then I will just put the port here, specify the port, and that is 3306. Okay, the username is admin, and the password we will specify when we log in. Okay, then just click enter there, and then just enter the password, and this is the password for your database that you used when we were logging in. Okay, so looks like there's a problem here. 3306, I think the port number here, this needs to be capital P here, capital P, like this, right? Port number, because the password on the other end signify the password. Okay, so this is the port, you have to put capital P here, and then let's enter our password again. There we go. Okay, all right, there we go. So that means that now we are logged in into our database, so just make sure that you enter this correctly here. All right, so we are logged in into our database now. So the next thing we need to do is to log in, to load the data into this database. Again, if you go to your DBeaver here, this one is empty, so we want to basically load that classic models into this database. So to do that, I think we this document here shows you how to do that. So it says you want to just do source and bring the that file, right, that contains the SQL files. So for us, that one is contained. Let me open a new tab here. Edit, yeah, right here. Open a new window. Yeah, with basic, that's fine. Okay. So we have two here and this one here. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go here. So that's my working directory, and the other one is in downloads, right? So that file is in downloads. So right here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to copy this, copy, and I will put it right here. So that command is source, and we want to do it like this. And of course, now we want to copy the file here. So if we list here, the file we want to load is this one that contains the SQL queries, and I will copy that and just put it here like so. Okay, so this is how the documentation shows, right? So you just want to navigate to where that file is and just put source in front of it. Okay, copy this. I'll copy this, and I will go over now to our file here, right? And all right. How do I clear this? Doesn't work. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just going to copy and paste that right here. So if you paste that and run it, there we go. So you can see now that you have this command is running fine. It's basically going through that file and creating all your tables and loading the data into those tables as well. Now, if you go back into your connections here and you refresh this, you can see that we have classic models here now, and we have the tables created, and it does have the data as well. Okay, so you can inspect these tables and you can see that we have these tables now with the data available in there as well. Okay, very good. So now we have our data available, and the next thing that we will just need to do then is to go ahead and connect into this database from Glue environment. Now, of course, up to this point, this has been great. If you wanted to just know how to load data into MySQL database, then up to this point, you are good to go. You can go ahead and now play with this data if this was your goal. But, our goal is much bigger. We want to create connections from Glue into this environment so that you can run your transformations in Glue if you wanted to, or move this data somewhere else, or whatever you wanted to do. Glue is a powerful ETL tool, and you can use it to play with your data whichever way you like, right? So we have our connections ready, we have our database ready. Now let's go over now to our connections in Glue, right? But before we go to Glue, I want to just we want to set up our network, right? So what we want to do is, if you go to VPC, just go right VPC here, click VPC. We want to do a few things in VPC, right? So what we want to do is we want to create endpoints, and endpoints will allow us to, your AWS services to communicate with each other. I have heard scenarios where people are saying that they are able to connect from either Redshift or RDS to Glue without having to create endpoints. If that's the case, that's fine. For me, I tried the option of going without the endpoints and I ran into issues. So I'm just showing you what I did for it to work for me. So again, endpoints allows you to, or allows AWS services to communicate with each other if they're not going over the internet, right? So here in your VPC, what you want to do is go over to endpoints. So that will be, where are the endpoints here? I thought I saw it, and I think I already clicked into it. So you will go to endpoints right here. Yeah, it's in private link and lattice. Go to endpoints here, and right now I do have only one endpoint, which is the default one. And what we want to do is we want to create endpoints to And before we go ahead, let me just look into this, what's happening here. So yeah, I don't think this is relevant. This one is using my Redshift sandbox or security group. But anyway, so what you want to do here is for the route tables, I think, I don't know if we'll be using these route tables again. Let me just click around here. Probably not, but yeah, so I'm just showing this because we might be needing to use this, but let's just leave that one for the time being. But what you want to do is you want to come over to endpoints here, right? So the endpoints that we want to create are for a few services. So we'll create one endpoint for RDS, another one for Glue, and then another one for Secret Manager, and also another one for STS. Okay, so let's do that. So I will go here and let's create an endpoint, a VPC endpoint for RDS. So I'm just going to type here RDS endpoint, and the service that we want to select here is RDS, which is this one, the first one here. We will select our service here, and then we will select the VPC. And for the subnets, so by default, all your subnets will be showing here. So what you want to do is just select the subnet ID next to each of these, right? So just populate it, and that's pretty much it. You don't have to do anything here. Scroll down here. What you want to do here in security group is to select the security group. And now this is important. The security group you want to select here is for the security group where your RDS cluster is running, right? So that's the one we'll be using. So for that, we created this one for MySQL security group. So that's the one we'll select. And that is it. So for public policy, we will just leave it full access. Yeah, we'll leave it full access here. And we'll go ahead and create endpoint here, okay? So that's good. So it looks like we don't need the route table. So this is good. And then we'll refresh it here. If we refresh, yeah, you do have the RDS endpoint here now. That is great. And then we'll create another one for Glue. So we will just go ahead and do the same process. And in this one, we will create one for Glue. We will search Glue here and select it. This is interface. Just click into it or select it. And then the VPC, I'm using the default VPC. And we'll just select all of this again and go through the same process of selecting these subnets. Now for these subnets, I usually do this because you don't know which one your database is using. So just go ahead and select all of them. Select the security group and give full access. Go ahead and create this endpoint. Okay. And then the other endpoint that we need to create here is for Secret Manager, because we will be storing our credentials in Secret Manager. So again, these are the things that I did that worked for me. You might not need all of this, so just try around. But if you just want to replicate the same thing I'm doing, then please go ahead and just follow along. So we'll go with Secret Manager endpoint here. Endpoint. I will type Secret Manager for this. Secret Manager, Secrets Manager. We'll select this, go with the VPC here, and just do the same thing with the rest of the subnets. Okay, like so. Very good. And we'll just select our security group for this one and give it full access. Go ahead and create it. And then the last one that worked for me here is STS. Okay, STS endpoint here. And we will go ahead and type STS here, which will be this one here, Amazon US STS. We will select this, just do the same thing, and assign the subnets as well. Okay, there we go. And then we'll do the security group, give it full access, create the endpoint. Okay, lovely. Now if you go to your endpoints now, you will see that we have created these 4 endpoints, one for RDS, one for Glue, one for Secret Manager, and then this one for STS. Okay, they will take a few, maybe a minute, 1 to 3 minutes for this to be available. Okay, so while that one is going on, the last thing that we want to do from security and network point of view is now to go over to our security group, right? So if you go over to our security groups here, again, this is a security group that we are using. Currently, it is the inbound rule that we have set up is the one that is only allowing traffic from our local environment. Now, one other thing that we need to do here is to create a self-referencing security group here. And this one is going to be useful again for our connection. So what you want to do basically is copy this security ID here, and you want to come down here, edit the inbound rules, and add rule here for all TCP. Okay, to accept all TCP here, this is going to open all the ports. And for the source here, do custom and just paste that ID right here, like so. This is the ID for your MySQL security group, right? All you have to do then is just go ahead and save. This is going to save. So now you have 2 groups here. The first one here, of course, is showing after that update, is the one that is for self-referencing. It's basically taking the source as the MySQL security group, the one we created, and then the other one is for our local environment. Okay, very good. I think that's pretty much it. So hopefully when we create the connections now, the connection should be able to work. So let's go ahead and now test these connections. Okay, so we have done 3 things so far, or 4 things. We have created our database, right? We have created our database. We have connected it locally, and we have loaded data to it, right, from DBeaver. And then we have gone ahead and created our IAM role, which is this one, and it does have these permissions assigned to this role. Okay, and now the last thing that we want to do is to create the connections from Glue into this database environment, right? So now for that, we'll go to Glue here and we will just open this in a new tab. Now for this, there are a few things that we want to do. So I'm going to go to databases here. You can do this when you're creating the connection itself. Actually, no, we don't need the databases. This is for crawler, so this one is not needed. So you just want to go to connections. Okay, so connections is what we want to do, right? We want to create the connections from Glue to RDS. So click connections. Okay, and then from here now, all you have to do is just go ahead and hit create connection here. And for the source, we are going to look for MySQL and then select it, click next. So in the configurations here now, we should be able to see that database that we created, which is showing right here. So just select it, and for the database name, we will put classic models. I think this is, yeah, classic models. So for this one, if you have a database with a different name, then you can put that name right here. Basically, this is a database that exists in your RDS or MySQL database, right? So you just want to select a valid one. Now for the credentials type here, you can actually go ahead and type the username and password here. But for my case, I'm just going to actually store this in Secret Manager, right? So I will go to Secret Manager here, and this is probably what you will want to do if you are running in a production environment or in a dev team and everybody wants to use this credential. So you want to do this so that other folks can also get this information. We will store a new secret here, And this one, yeah, see, you can see here credentials for RDS database. Yes, that's what we want to do. We want to enter the name here, the username. So this is admin, and the password for our database. Just enter the password here, right? So just make sure that it is the correct password. And then yeah, so that's the encryption key. You can see here that your database is available here, MySQL, and then just click next here, and I'm going to name this one my SQL secret here, right? Like so. Just name it something useful or meaningful, and then I'll click next here. I'm not going to do anything at that. I'll just just leave the rest as default, and we'll go ahead and create this. Okay, and if you refresh this, now you have your secret here. Of course, if you haven't worked with secrets manager, you can come and if you click retrieve secret value here, if you have the permissions, it's going to show you your username and the password. If you see it right here. Okay, so that's if you just want to see the actual values, you can click this. Okay, so I have my secret stored here now. So we'll navigate over to, we'll go over to Glue. Yeah, right here. And so I will go with secrets manager. We want to select the secret here, which is going to pop up after we create it. Okay, and we just want to select that. For the service role, this is now going to be important, and this is now going to be the role that we created earlier, right, in the beginning of this video. So you want to specify that IAM role, and for us, the one we created was AWS role Glue RDS role here, right? This is the one we went with, and that is this role, right? Which one was that? Right here. Yes, this one here. It has all of these permissions assigned to it. Okay. So we will select that, and now you can see the network options here are popping by default. So you can see this is a VPC, and this is the subnet that is selected here for this VPC. So it's going to, I believe it's going to randomly select one of them. You can see that we have all of these other ones available here. And if you are wondering where these subnets are available, if you come to your RDS and look, these are the subnets that are associated with this database. So these are the default ones. So I'm going to leave the one that is pre-selected, and now for the security group, you can see here we have MySQL security group selected. This is also important. You want to select this because this is your endpoints. This is where your endpoints are created. Okay. So if you see here, we do have a number of other security groups. So you just want to select the right one here. Okay. And then we click next here, and you can put the name here. I'm going to leave it as MySQL connection here. So this is going to be, you can change this if you want, right? And then just click next. And now this is your preview. You can review this. Looks good for me. We go ahead and now hit create connection. There we go. So so now once you do that, Glue is going to create these connections. It's going to, you can see here, it's doing VPC provisioning. So it's basically going to set up everything and make sure that the networks check everything, including the networks, the role that you're using. Your database, has that, the database created as well, the username and all of that. It's going to go through all of that process. And if all is good, then this data is going to say your success, the process is successful, right? So you will see a green mark here, a green check mark here. If we run into any issue, then we will also see the error here as well. So let's let this run, and this might take a few minutes. So it might take like 3 to 5 minutes, could be more. But we will let it run, and then we will come back when it's done, and we will see if it went well or it failed, and then we'll proceed from there. Okay, so it is done creating our connection now, and you can see here we are successful now in our connection to RDS environment. So you can see this check mark here, connection is ready for you to use. MySQL connection, to begin using your connection, you must create a job. So this is awesome, right? So if you see this message here, that means that you are actually your connection actually are good to go, right? Like you are able to connect into your RDS database, and most likely everything is good. So to confirm that, what you want to do is you can click you can just click out of this to confirm actually that your connections are really good and you can use them. Go to connections here and you can see the connection here is created, right? MySQL connection. If you select this, what you want to do is you want to test this connection. This is the only way that you can actually know for sure that you are really connected to your database. So you want to hit test connection here, and there we go. So if you see this message saying successfully connected to the data store, then that means that you are now good to go, and your connections from Glue to RDS are now good. Okay, so you can just exit out of this, and from here now you can now proceed with your project, right? So some of the things that you can do after this include things like crawling. So you can crawl your MySQL database and bring that data over to Glue and do some transformations to that data, and you know, you can write it to S3, you can write it to I don't know, Redshift, you can use EMR jobs and whatever you need to do really. You can do that in Glue environment itself. So remember, Glue is an ETL tool, and you know, for ETL you can you mostly work with data. So for you to bring that data over, then you do need that connection. So say you wanted to work with RDS data, in this case, you know, MySQL data, Postgres data, SQL Server data. What you want to do, of course, is make sure that the connections to that environment is working, and then from there you can bring over that data. So if you wanted to crawl the data, you can do the crawling. If you don't want to crawl the data and you just want to write your jobs, then you can go over here to ETL jobs. You know, you can create your ETL jobs here. You can use the visual ETL job or the script. If you want to write PySpark jobs, okay, so you can just flip into this one here and just go and edit this script here, and you should be able to write your PySpark queries here, and basically, you know, save it once you're done and write it to somewhere else. Okay guys, so that's how you create connections from Glue to RDS database. And let me just quickly recap what we did in this video. So we went ahead and created our database. So we created MySQL database in RDS, and then we loaded data into that database. So for that we used DBeaver to create connections into this environment, and then we loaded this classic models Sample database. And then after that, what we did was, of course, we created our service role, our IAM role, and this IAM role we specified these permissions here. Okay, so these are the permissions that we assigned to this role. And then the other thing that we did was we created our endpoints. So if you go to endpoints here, these are the endpoints that we created. Okay, so we created endpoints for RDS, Glue, Secret Manager, and STS. And then from there we also modified our security group. Okay, so these are the modifications we did to our to our security group here. Okay, and this is the inbound rules. And then finally we went ahead and now created our connections from Glue to this database. Okay, and as you can see, our database is now successful and we are able to connect to it successfully as well. So this means that from here again, now you can proceed and create your jobs and you know, do whatever thing you need to do for your projects. Okay, so that's it guys, that's what I just wanted to show you in this video, and I hope it was helpful. And if it was, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed, in order to stay updated for videos like this in future. Alright guys, that's all I had for you in this video. I will see you in the next time. Bye bye.